Okay, you guys able to see the screen and with nothing in it, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, so welcome to our session 4. Today we're going to get started with Athena. So we're going to learn about Athena as in service. Hopefully, you guys got an opportunity to review our other session. Remember when we talked around let me put it here, this one. So earlier when we have talked, we have tried to understand like, okay, how we looking to have a data being consumed, right? How we looking to have uh, more like what all services are there within AWS, so through which you can able to start consuming the data lake or data from the data lake, and Athena is one of them. So usually when we talk about the use cases which we're going to learn in our presentation as well, we're going to see like, okay, how you can get started with Athena. It's very easy, and then where the Athena fits in the entire architecture. Okay, so let me share my presentation, and then we can get started. So you able to see my screen here, right? With Amazon Athena.
Yes, we can see.
Okay, I think not this one. I think it's the old one. Yeah, let's go with this one. Okay. So this look, I think so you guys able to see here. So we can get started. So I think we all have learned, right? So what is happening in today's world is now the storage. Let's just think of like, storing the data in S3 or any other object store is getting cheaper. So uh, and this happen like now is the storage cost and compute cost is down, and which causing like, for us to store a lot of data, and businesses are storing all kind of a data, right? From the clickstream data to log data to telemetry data to IoT, web application, mobile, name it, databases, etc. So everything is being get stored, right? So that's what like, we are bringing a lot and lot of data, and that's where like, as an option we have store we talked around why, like where the people are storing all or customers are storing the data is in data lake. And when we have talked around why they are storing the data lake, we have touched upon the concept of, schema on rate, decoupling of compute, and decoupling of storage and compute. And also we have learned around how you're able to store all kind of data within your data lake, and why why people are storing in S3, because it offer you, first of all, it's an object store, so you can store any kind of a data. Other is it has an inbuilt capability of inbuilt availability and durability. So right, that is very high in standard. So availability is 11.9, and durability is 4.9, uh, 4.9, or vice versa. Uh, so the ask is like, okay, you will be storing n number of data from different data sources, and that data being get stored in your data lake. And that you will be then again you will be you have a different kind of use cases for that other data being get stored. One, like you can think of analytical use cases. Other is your application is consuming your data. You're making a visualization. You will be using machine learning on top of those data. So other is that's where like, when you bring lot and lot of data, the first ask for you to, hey, how I'm able to start accessing the data, right? How I'm able to see how the data look like, how I'm able to see make initial analysis on top of the data, even without me building any complex ETL pipeline, or without me making a lot of modification or manipulation on the data, right? So that's where the Athena comes into picture. It just it let you build that interactive analytics on top of your data lake. So you have not to worry about creating any infrastructure. You have not to worry about installing anything. You have not to worry about have any uh, licensing cost or anything in that nature. So Athena is think of like simple to get started, interactive, advanced, and most importantly, is being like not mentioned here is a serverless. So what does it mean is it's like you have not to worry about starting or building any infrastructure, or you have not to worry about you know any licensing, like how we used to do with databases. Like, okay, you have to have licensing, then you will be performing installation. And for installing, you need to minimum server configuration. Hey, you need to have that much of CPU, you need to have that much of memory, you need to have that much of storage, etc., etc. With Athena and with any other serverless services, that is being taken care by AWS. So you as an user have not to worry about any installation, any patching, any backup, worry about availability of services, etc., etc. That is being taken care by the AWS. Okay, so I have like let's go and. So this is what in next section. Why it's not moving here? So in next section, this is what is kind of explaining on each of the topics. So this is like simple instant start. I have already covered, right? uh, it's a serverless, so there's a no setup or startup time, right? It will be you will be start using it. Uh, it is optimized for fast result. Uh, so it is built on Trino, or it used to be built on Presto. Now the Athena 3 will be on the Trino, right? So and then it will be pointing to your S3 to your data lake, where and then you can just start querying in your data. It also offer federated capabilities. What the federated capabilities is like, it you're able to connect to different data sources, uh, not only in a data lake. Apart from the data lake, let's say if your data sitting in your data warehouse, if your data sitting in your databases like MySQL, Oracle, any other data sources, or Snowflake, right, or Redshift like data warehouse, etc. You're able to connect those data as well. It also offer you the Spark as well. So you're able to run a Spark query on top of your data. This is a new addition. Earlier, it used to only offer Trino. Now it's start offering the PySpark as well. Other is that is again, right, when the PySpark ecosystem is being offered through the notebook. So you're able to spin up notebook. When you're spinning up a Spark session, it will be creating a notebook for you, and then you will start writing your PySpark queries, right? It support ANSI SQL, so you have not to learn any special language to work with Athena. Other is like it support Apache Spark, so it support two framework, right? ANSI SQL and Apache Spark. It work on multiple file format like Parquet, ORC, CSV, uh, uh, any other file format, log file formats, and all. There's a list of file formats being available. You're able to easily able to find in the Athena website. Allow you to do complex SQL, allow you to do multiple joins, allow you to work with the nested data, etc. And the most important part of like where the customer is really lean towards, or people start using Athena is a cost, like how you are paying for Athena. It's a $5, but just 1 second. It's a $5 that per terabyte of data scan. Let me put a headphone on. Any questions so far? No questions?
When you see it says federated queries across 35 plus data. What does this mean?
Well, it means like, let's say if you have a data sitting in a snowflake, right? And now you have to
Okay.
join the data from the snowflake and to the data sitting in your data lake. So that's it offers that capabilities where you're able to connect to your snowflake database,
Okay.
um,
Okay.
and similarly able to connect to your Teradata. You're able to connect to um, means there are a number of data sources being available. Oracle is one of them, and then RDS is there. There are a couple of MySQL data sources being available. I will be showcasing that. Okay,
Okay.
so let's go to the console and see what all we have talked through all these four different things, right? So let's understand what all this. So we have talked through like, okay, we are bringing all kind of a data in a data lake, right? So data lake is nothing but an S3 where you will be storing and all kind of a data. So just think of like, okay, we have this many data being stored in a S3 in a different folders. So my first ask will be, hey, how I'm able to go and look all kind of a data, right? So here I have this data. So in here I have stored this one simple CSV file. Now if I want to go and have a look of this data, how the data is being stored into this CSV file, right? How I can do that, and I can have like millions of such similar files, or I can have a different lot of folders, right? So that's where the Athena comes very handy. So you will be get started like, okay, what I should be doing to access to this file, right? So if I go into Athena as again, right, before even going into, so the one simple way for you to access this file is you're able to use something called S3 select. But again, S3 select has a limitation how big file can be. It's in few MB. So if it's more than few MB, you're not able to run a query against the data. But just for your quick tip and tricks, is just like if you have to look and see how the data look like within your S3 bucket, you can simply use S3 select and able to do that. Okay. Uh, Now, if the data is big, if the ST select is not working, or if you have to perform like other complex joins and everything and such, that's where you can use Athena. And then Athena, as I mentioned earlier, right? You have is in serverless service. So the first characteristic of Athena is, as in serverless service, you have not to worry about installing anything at all, right? You can just simply go and start using it. So first task will be when you're going to Athena, you won't able to see anything as such, right? So my first task will be, hey, if I have to start using Athena, what I should be doing, right? First will be you will be it will be asking you like where you're looking to store your result. So in this case, I have let's say if I uh, let me go and remove this one and just save it. So if I go back to Athena, it will be asking me, hey, launch query editor. It will be asking before you run your first query, you need to set up your query location in an S3. And why it is being asking this one is because every time when you run any query in Athena, it will be storing that result in an S3. Okay, so that is one more advantage as well. You have not to run it again and again and your query again and again. If you have the same result that you're looking to use, right, you can just simply able to download, and that is enough for you to start. So I have
Um,
yeah, go ahead. Yeah, you have any question?
yeah. So when we store the query results, now there could be multiple teams working on this S3 bucket. Multiple queries can be run. So does it
Mhm.
add to the storage, or is it temporary stored, or is there some settings?
So it will be all the result will get stored in your S3 bucket. Okay, so whether regardless which team is using it. So if you have a multiple teams, there is a concept called work group. Okay, so each team can have their own work group, and when they are working on their work group, they're able to go and have an option to to use, like, okay, which work group they are using it, and then again they're able to have an access being defined based on the work group, what all data they're able to use to query upon.
Okay. And how is this access, set for each work group? Is it
So all the access is being managed using the IAM, right? So you can able to define which user, which IAM user, which IAM role have an access to that work group. Okay.
okay? But is the enterprise charge for each query results being stored here, or is it minimum charge, like not uh, very significant?
So there are, I mean, when you say, hey, when Athena, when we remember we talked around Athena charge, so it's a $5 per terabyte of data scan. So if you're running any query, let's say if I'm running this query here, right? So what is happening when I run this query is it's scanning some amount of a data. So if you see here, it scanned this 713 kilobyte of a data. So if I scan 734 kilobyte of data, so this is if I have to make a calculation, right? So I say like $5 is 1 terabyte of data, right? So if $5 is 1 terabyte of data, it means I 5 divided by 1024, which is equivalent to 0004 uh, dollar for your one GB of data, right? And then you can divide that to 1024, which is for you to 1 MB of data, and then you can divide. So the cost is very significantly low, but again, right, if you have a lot of data, that will be kind of add up here. But the ask is, when you work, so just think of like, hey, I run this query here, and now if I go back and if I go here and recent queries, I just run this query here, and if I go and look my query, I see, like, I clicked on this execution ID. I see this query result is being stored here. I have an option to go and download this result, right? So and then I can able to use this result for my future work. And also I have asked, like, okay, you can have your uh, result being stored into S3. So for a future, hey, if I have to go and look my result in S3, how I'm able to do that, right? So simply I will be going to here. I found this query ID, and then where was my last query is. So this is my query ID. I will be going and storing. I will be getting. Sorry, it's not a snowflake. Unsafe. So I will be going and today is 26/11th, right? So this is my query ID. So if you see here, I'm able to see this CSV file. Okay. And I will be able to go and perform the download. So usually this queries for your user, it will be has something called query ID or execution ID, sorry, and then you're able to use that execution ID to download the data. This way you're able to do that as well. So
The actual data from the query results, that is not stored, but it is still, the query is available for you to go ahead and download the results if you need to.
no, it's an actual data of your query. So
Okay.
yeah. So if I just download this data here, right? Uh, it will be it's just this data is in data of my actual query. If I have to showcase, I have to show you. So see here, this is the data which I just got it from the query.
Okay.
So this is just think of like, for future use. Hey, if I already run a query, the query is already there. Can I run it without me worrying about running it again? So I should not be get charged for it, right? So
Mhm.
that's how you, let's say if you have a very complex query you run, which scan like maybe, I don't know, a lot of data,
Mm.
and you wanted to have that result being stored, that result being reused, and then you do not want to run the query again. So you can just simply go in S3 and start download the data and start using it. Or you can point to that, you're create a new table and then pointing to S3 with that result again. That is very much possible. We're going to learn about that, something called CSET, create table as select. Okay, so as I mentioned earlier, when you start with Athena, you have not to worry. It's completely serverless, so you have not to worry about creating any infrastructure. You have not to worry about any licensing or anything as such. You just simply start using it. So first task will be when you're going with Athena is like, hey, I wanted to create a table, right? I wanted to have, so something should, I will able to query it. So you have an option to create a table. You can just simply say like, hey, demo one, and I will be like where I will be looking to have my data being stored. I will be saying, hey, just choose an existing database or create a
Hey,
new database.
I'm
I
sorry
just
to interrupt, Navneet. There is a message from somebody named Raghav. He's waiting in the queue in our group. I'm sorry to interrupt.
oh, okay.
He's still waiting. I don't know if you want to let him in. Sorry about that to interrupt. Yeah.
No, no problem.
Yep.
Yeah, let me. I don't see admit all. Yeah, I just added. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Thanks for reminding us.
Thank you.
Okay, fair enough. So hey Raghav, sorry I didn't saw you. You were waiting on a queue. Oh,
I didn't either. Sorry, I joined earlier, but my computer had shut down from being out of charge, so I'd been waiting for about the past 20 minutes in the waiting room.
oh, you could have just messaged me or
I
called.
I had I had messaged you a few
Oh,
times, but no one responded. I had messaged at 9:14 and then again a few times later,
yeah.
but I never got a response.
I'm sorry. I was not paying attention to my message. Yes. My apology. So where you left?
I left at about like 9:04, 9:05 is when my computer shut down, and then I rejoined at about 9:10ish,
Okay,
but since then nothing.
not a problem. We have not means we just talked around the basics of Athena. Okay. So we were said like, okay, Athena as in serverless service, you have not to worry about installing, managing anything at all. So what we're now learning is if you have a data in S3, how you can get started with Athena, right? Uh, First task is like, okay, when you have to go in Athena, we will be learning how you're able to create tables, etc. You're able to watch this video was already being recorded, so you're able to watch it the first 20 minutes which you have missed. Okay. So
Okay, thank you.
yeah, so like as I mentioned earlier, this is in Athena. So first is like you're able to do it. It has a query editor, as I mentioned. It has a two engine. One is your SQL. So we are currently working on a SQL. Other is Spark, which I will be going and exploring later. So first task will be, hey, now if I have to go and start creating, and I have this data setting in my S3. Now I want to start exploring this data which is there in a S3. How I'm able to do that, right? I have this demo data. Let's say if I have like this millions of file, I will be start using it. So the first is like, okay, I will be going and creating a table. I will be just saying, hey, just give me some table name. This is there. You can create your own database. I will be, let's say, we are going calling it demo underscore one. Uh, and once done, like, you will be pointing the location where the data is being stored. In our case, right, where is, yep, this is the this is the data set. Let's say if I will be going and storing the data here, right? Where is, this is where my data is, and thereafter I will be saying, hey, what will be the so again, right? If you see here, it's saying Apache Hive, Apache Iceberg, and Lake Formation govern table. One thing I forgot to tell you, like internally, it's a Hive metadata or Hive compatible metadata. So it's storing as in uh, Hive table. Other thing is like, okay, you able to create an Iceberg table on top of your data as well. Iceberg is a new kind of file format, or say it's a more kind of a transactional data lake. So if I have to go and update the data itself, right? So that's where you're able to create an Apache Iceberg table, and then you're able to perform all kind of a uh, uh, DML on your data. Like you're able to perform an insert, you're able to perform an update, you're able to perform upsert, etc., etc. You're able to do that. Lake formation govern table. It used to be managed by Lake formation govern table, but don't worry about it anymore. Okay. Other is like, okay, file format. So what all the file format it's being supported by Athena? It's being listed here. So it's about Parquet, Avro, ORC, JSON, uh, this Amazon LON, I don't know what that data is. Then you have your CSV, TSV, you have any other text file delimited data. You can have a web log, cloud log, log, stress log, right? So in our case, what the data format is a CSV, right? We have this CSV file. So I have selected this CSV file, and then I can saying, hey, what's the delimiter look like? So I have added this delimiter here. The next next wi- next ask will be, hey, was the how the column looked like, right? So I had this data, and remember we just did a query against the data. So if I go and open this data here, so I have this sequence, first name, last name, right? So I will be adding this sequence. I will be adding this first name. I will be adding the last name, age, street, city.
Navneet, this has to be added manually. Is there no
Uh,
way?
no, it is not. So we'll come to that later. Okay. So this is your way to get started with a console, right? And then if you already know SQL, you can just have a create table statement, and then you can able to do that. This is GUI way of you doing or working with an Athena. Okay. So as I mentioned, right, it support NC SQL. So you have an option to just use a create table name, provide all kind of a column, and then that will be that it help you to create it help you to have your table being created without you going and manually adding each and every field. And this is not even a recommended way, because here you will be like, it take a lot of time, and like, okay, how many table you able to add this way. So when in a production, you're not looking to do that, or even in the real world, you're not looking to do that. It's just for you, and just when you're starting it, you know uh, it's just an option for you to get started. That's it.
Okay.
uh, Here, uh, just to show you like what all options are available, and then you have a last name you're able to start using. I will be just giving integer here, and these are the column type, or these are the data type which you're able to use for this, for table. City, like, again, put as string. State, put as string. Zip, maybe integer. Dollar, maybe let's go with a double. Pick will be, I don't know, we can put as in So if you see here, there is something called struct date type as well. So if you have a nested data, that's where that struct date type can become come handy. So pick will be your string, and then you have a date. Of course, then you have a date column here. Okay. So once that is being done, like you have a option to select what kind of compression you wanted to have, right? And then also you're able to add, hey, skip the first line as in header, right? So I just will be adding this is if I'm not adding this one, that it means the first line is not, it will not considering as in header. In our data, we already know the first line which we have is in header, right? So, and that's where I'm saying to skip it. If you're saying your first line is not in header, just do not provide any value here. Okay. You have an option to provide a partition. If there are any column which is being which is partition column, you're able to provide that as well. So see here, what it did is it created this statement. Okay. So similarly, what I said earlier, right? It's just creating and create table statement. So you can use this create table statement for all kind of a workload, all kind of a work. So uh, just simply go and create a table. So you can simply, if you want to have it, like you can just simply copy paste and create table, or you can create your own, statement. Column type straight is string. Make sense? Now I have this here. If I just create it, just got this database and I got this table. And if I just simply go and preview this table, it will be giving me this data. Okay. So this is how you able to make your work. If you see here, for the dollar and and the date, I didn't get any value. And the reason might be because the date I have, the date column which I have selected, it do not working for it. Okay. So this is like, you can simply go and update. So this is where I said, like, date, instead of date, just say timestamp. There are other data type as well available within, and you can, like, the demo too. Let's say if it's working with the demo too, and for a dollar, you can think of, we have added double. We can think of if float will work. Okay, let's see and run it. So earlier I showed you creating using console right here. Now if you see here, you can just simply able to create table a name, and then you're providing the column data type, and then you will be providing different kind of a sharding. What will the sharding look like? Then you will be telling the delimited, etc., etc. Then this is like you're really able to find this syntax online or on the Athena documentation. But answer to your question, you have not to, every time you have not to go and create manually. Okay, you're able to use create table statement. Now if I go back and just run the query here, so still it's not showing to me, and I don't know why. So here, if I have the timestamp as in date column, should it should be showcasing, because yesterday I built this demo for you guys to showcase and it ran fine. So let me generate the detail. Yeah, date is timestamp, and your dollar is string. So which is, it should work fine. So let me copy paste here. Again, you see here, right? So again, when you build these tables in the first attempt, maybe you are the date type is not matching how it's supposed to. So you will be going and usually fixing, hey, why it's not coming the way I should want it to have, right? So whether the date type mm, is matching my requirement, it's not matching my requirement, etc., etc. So this is usually it. You know, you when you start doing development on Athena, that's what all things this kind of come into picture. So if you see here now, my dates start coming, still not getting the date, and that's really strange because I should able to get the date if I go here and let me run here and see if I'm having the date here. Okay, I'm not having date here as well. So what else we can do that? Maybe the date which we are having is not matching the requirement. I can simply go and change to string and see if that fix the issue. Okay, so let's see. Okay, you got it right. So any idea why did it didn't work when I was giving as in date and a timestamp earlier?
The format, what it is expecting is not in the timestamp format. Yeah,
Yes,
DMM by Y, whatever. That's the
exactly,
timestamp format. Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, you are right, absolutely right. So this is very important. Usually when you start doing a development, right, is you have just learned, right, is the data, the input data which you will be getting is not always like the way you building your table. So you will be find, hey, this is what it is, right? I'm getting this data here, but when I say and go and look into the date column, I'm not able to find the data how it's supposed to be, right? Not in this one. In my demo, where is the demo here? If I simply go and do an S3 select, and I'm going and looking my data, the data is not coming. Uh, you know, the format is not matching how it's supposed to. It's just coming as month. Uh, Sorry, this is month, day, and year, right? So it's not being supporting the the format it's supposed to be with for the Athena to work. Uh, okay, so this is how you will be creating your table again, right? You're able to create a view on top of your table, so that can be done as well. So you can simply go and create a view. You will be saying, hey, provide a view, select start, etc., etc., and then you will be creating a view. Are you able to create an UDF functions as well within Athena that is being supported as well? Other very important thing is create table as select. So what create tables as select will do is, hey, I have this data being stored as in CSV, right? So I wanted to have the data instead of selecting as in CSV, I wanted to have the data will be in, let's say, I wanted to have this data is in Parquet, and I have this data being stored as in CSV here. But let me create one more. I think what I can do here is let me do one more thing. Any guess?
Uh, would they break because they no longer have access to the direct file path of the tables they're talking about, or yeah, the tables they're talking about?
Okay, we're gonna go and have a look. So if I just run this here, right? Because this is, if I go and generate the detail, it was pointing to CSV. Remember, we have showed you earlier. So it was pointing to this demo here. Let's say if it's not pointing to this demo, where the query went. Let's see how that is being happened. Hey, what happened now? Let's see. It's pointing to demo. And if I go back in the demo, I don't see any data in here. Why I'm still able to see data? Any guess?
Does it like reassign the file path to the explicit one? Or like it starts by having the explicit file path, so it always leads to there just from the
Uh,
table name?
e, so what it has is like, because technically in this CSV folder, this is the only file I have. Okay, and in here I don't have any file at all. So what is happening is it's going into this demo, okay, and it's finding this CSV here and this folder here, and it's going and looking for a file. So what I'm asking here, Athena, to go and look for that path and try to see if there are any data which matching this structure, okay? And that file should be CSV. As I only have a CSV file currently in that folder structure, Athena is smart enough to go and look into that folder and see, hey, I have found this file which is there in the CSV folder to this root directory. Make sense? Is it clear or is not clear? What happened here?
Can you say it again? Sorry.
So let me showcase something here. Okay. So this is my DDL. What is happening is I'm I'm saying to this table, go and look for the data in this demo folder. Okay. And this is my demo folder here within this S3 root bucket. And this folder, I have something called CSV and a Parquet. This is again a subfolder within the folder. And the CSV only have this convert.csv file, so which the file which I'm pointing to. And the Parquet has nothing in it. So what Athena is doing is it has smart enough, so it able to find, hey, this is only one folder CSV which has some data which is matching to this structure, okay, and that's why it able to give you the data. But if I put something different in my Parquet, then when it start failing.
But Naveed, won't it result in some confusion? What if there are multiple CSV files uh, in the demo folder? Which one
Yeah.
to pick?
Yes, so that's very interesting question, and that's very valid question. So let's say if I have this CSV file convert, so the one requirement for Athena to work is this file should be matching the structure. So all the files I should have in the CSV folder should matching the structure. Let's say let me put some different CSV file all together, okay, and see how that is being performing. Let me find some CSV. Uh, just 1 second. Let me find some sample CSV file. Okay. Search water. Okay. So it's a big file, but let me try out and see if that is working. How big this file is? Okay. 1.03 GB of file. Okay. So if I upload this file, it's really big. Let me find some file. Take some time, even upload. Let me create one and then let's say we are creating this file. Okay. Name, age, and salary. Name, I don't know. A, age, 25, salary, 1,000. B, 35, and 2,000. Okay. And now I will be going and saving this as a CSV file. Demo.csv, demo1. Okay. So here, cancel this guy. And if I go back and just upload this here, demo1.csv. So this demo1.csv file, right? If I just simply go and do an S3 select, it has name, age, and salary. This is right. If I just simply go and run a query against my Athena table now, and see this is what happening now here. See, age, name, first name. So what is happening now currently is it's not matching that they technically how it's supposed to, like the structure is not matching. So your data is messed up here. So what you're looking to do is technically you wanted to have all the file which is different in structure, you wanted to put that file into different folder. So is this demo.csv, if I put that into different folder and then I will be creating a new table, it will only looking for this demo underscore 1.csv. Okay, so if I just simply go and let's say if I create a new folder here, demo1, and create folder, and if I just simply go and move this file to demo1, okay, let me move this file here. Let me run this query again. What do you think? What will happen now? I just created one more folder within the CSV with a new file. See here. Still, and the reason being is I believe a couple of things. One is it's caching the data. Okay, so it able to cache the data from the last query itself. So technically, if it should be not giving me throwing some or other kind of an error. Let me run this one here. So we have this data caching being enabled within the Athena. If I just reload, let me run on a different browser and see how that is being happening. If I'm getting the same behavior there as well. I'm trying to run on a different browser. Okay. Okay. So what is happening is still it's able to what is doing it's able to read this as an CSV file. But if I go and because what we're doing is we are pointing to this to a root directory. But if I go and create a new table here and I say this is to CSV, okay, and let's see. And if I go and preview table here, it will be giving me the CSV. If I just simply go and CSV within CSV, we have this demo underscore one. Let me run. So if you see here, if I'm going and creating the demo one here, so it's just reading this three record. However, if I just look here, the column name is the sequence name, first name, last name. Remember we had done some concept called schema on a read, right? So when you're reading your data here, the schema which whatever the schema you will be defining, that is what will be coming as it is here. Okay. So in order for you to do it, you have to first know the schema of your data set. So in our case, we have learned that like okay, the schema of S3 file was first name, last name, and salary. So what we have to do is we have to go and update the schema and call it first name, last name, and salary. Or else it will be whatever the schema you will be defining. That is what is being taken care of in schema. But it was not giving other column because we do not have the data for other columns. Okay, so this will be your what was the name, age, and salary. Okay, so before I do that, let me copy this here and delete this table. Let me give a new name. Okay, name, age, and salary. You got it, right? So, and any questions here? You got what all things has happened? Or still you have a confusion? So one more thing which we can go and do that here. So let's go and create table as select. Okay. So if I'm saying here is parquet, and if I go back in my uh, S3, let me go and get that S3 bucket name, or maybe I had it here from some of the table. Yeah. So this is my S3 demo, and instead of CSV, it's going to be parquet. Right? And then I will going to have a, I don't know, maybe this query, let's say, put this one here. So what I'm doing is I'm creating a table from this table, and I'm calling it parquet. Okay. Let's do that. But this is more kind of performing an ETL on top of your using Athena. Okay. So if I go back and S3 demo, this is a Parquet file. So see here, this new file has been created. Okay. So if I go back and run the query again, let's run this query here. And now if I'm going and running this Parquet here, see, I got the data for the Parquet here, but the file format is a different. So let's do a comparison when in running. If I simply just do a count star against this Parquet data, this is how much I will be getting. This 1002 record. I have not had any data being scanned. And for this one, if I just do a count star, and I will be doing this much of data scan. So remember I showed you earlier, right? Okay, why it is important to have the data being in a right file format. So what you can think of is when you starting, if you're getting any file as in CSV, one option for you to do is to have that file is being converted into Parquet and then able to perform your query, especially if you're looking to have a distributed engine like Presto or Trino or Spark or anything as such. Any questions?
Navneet, in this, the original CSV file that remains as it is, but you just created another table in a Parquet format, is it?
Right, yes. So if you see here, I had just within the S3 itself, I had the CSP. Within the CSP, I had this demo one, and then demo one has this demo one .csv, and this is file. And I have used this CSV file, and then I have created this Parquet file out of the CSV file, as in select table as create statement, using select table as create statement. So I will be creating this select statement, and out of this select statement, I have provided this Parquet as a file format. And then this is the location where I wanted to keep my data, as in Parquet data. So this is like, think of performing in ETL using Athena.
Okay.
Okay. So you have now you have learned so how this is being happening. But what will happen if I put let's say if I'm in here itself CSV, right? And I will be calling at CSV, sorry, I will be calling as CSV underscore under Parquet. So now let's run this data here. So what I'm doing is in the CSV folder itself, I'm putting this Parquet file. The target directory, blah blah blah, CSV and CSV Parquet already exists. Okay. CSV. Okay. So I have this this folder here within the CSV. I have created this Parquet folder, and within the Parquet folder, I have this data. Let me see how Athena is performing now. Okay. So if I go and CSV demo one, no, not this one. Let's see. See, I got this 12032 record. And if I just simply go and a query against it, you see what is happening here. And why this has happened? Any idea? And this has happened because within this file folder itself, I have a two different kind of file format. One is in Parquet, other one is CSV. So Athena is not able to understand which file format it should be bringing, right? So, and when I created my table, I said this file format should look like this is my file format. When I'm creating my table, I will be defining this is my file format CSV. Okay, so that is why you got that very weird result. So all these things like this is usually when you go into production, right, or when you're doing a development, this is will be you will facing, hey, this my result set is not matching how my data is, or it's not coming, it's coming something really weird. It's not picking up the date column, it's not picking up the sum value, etc., etc. And this is what usually you do as an developer or Athena developer, to ensure, you know, this is comes as a data wrangling process or data cleaning process, where you have to validate, okay, the data which is there in your S3, you're able to match, like, you're able to have a schema kind of brought in. And once done, then you will be start doing all kind of analysis, right? You're able to run all kind of a SQL here. uh, So with that, I will be ending our session for today. In next session, we're going to explore about this notebook, as well as we're going to explore around how you can able to create work groups, etc. Okay. Any questions before we end our session?
Mm.
So once you start exploring more and more, when you start doing your own work on Athena, it will get really interesting. But hopefully, this session gave you enough to start with. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Take care, everyone. Bye.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Bye.